The problem is that expropriation and the resulting economic collapse will hurt poor people more than rich people. The rich people can simply leave the country, in which case you not only created a food shortage for all South Africans, we do not have the luxury of immigrating, but also increased unemployment. Therefore, when all these facts are considered, the Expropriation Bill should not be adopted. I again thank you for the chance.
Goeiemorgen. Ik is Neville Korkie. Ik vertegenwoordig Kaap. Dat betekent Khoi Kingdom and all people. Ik is de president daarvan. Mijn point of view rondom die grondoneenings. Ik kan niet verstaan hoe ons die al hier goed gaan. Was het in de apartheid jaren was het ook zo. Moesten ze ook die goede doen om onze grond terug te krijgen wat in ons rechtmatig behoort. Ons is dan op die oomblik zoals die loseerders in die land. Of zoals die borders. Ik bedoel, in die apartheidjaren of destijds was dingen daar niet zo gedaan zoals het nou is. Hoe komt het dan nou zo gedaan wordt? Kan ons dan niet dat doen zoals het in die apartheidjaren was? Die baas rijdt heel dag met een paard en zei, stop, dan trek hij zijn pennen, dan zei dat is mijn grond die. Kan ons dan niet nou die weer diezelfde doen? Dat is mijn point of view. So, alsjeblieft mensen, moenie so baie ons mors, government se teksgeld, klomp goed om hier goed te doen. Kom ons doen die ding soos het gedoen was in die apartheidjare, bottom line.
Hi there, my name is Neville Greyling from Kaap, which means the Khoi Kingdom, and the president. My opinion is I don't understand why we have to struggle to get land back. Can we not just do what the apartheid government did? Farmer goes out with his horse, plants his stick, and that's his land. I don't understand why we have to waste government money on this. Can they not hear me? Okay. And then claim the land that we want, just the same as apartheid. Thank you.
They used to do, they'll put up a pen to identify a certain piece of land and claim that land that piece of land belonged to them. Can't we now do the same, like the apartheid years, the way they did it when they took the land?
Good morning, everyone. I want to greet the panel, councillors, mayor, speaker, everyone present. My name is Claudine Krauts. I'm a deployed ANC councillor in council. I'm also the chief whip of the ANC and the sub-regional chairperson of the ANC in Knysna. I will be speaking on behalf of the sub-region today. I, Claudine Krauts, representing the ANC state, that the ANC support the expropriation of property and land as a just, equitable process to restore the dignity of our people in addressing both access to property and land, and that expropriation of such without compensation is part of that process. For the ANC, this is about redressing the historical injustices and dispossession of the black majority. It is also a vital opportunity to unlock growth, redistribute assets, and promote socio-economic transformation. The ANC's program provides a way to address the land question and build productive assets for our people. We are guided by our 54th National Conference resolution, which states expropriation of land without compensation should be among the key mechanisms available to government to give effect to land reform and redistribution. We submit that in line with the Constitution of the Republic and the Property Clause, the Expropriation Bill is the draft law of general application that will allow, under certain circumstances, expropriation of property and land without compensation. We support the Expropriation Bill 2020 so as to redistribute property, land to address the centuries-old national grievances of land and property forced dispossession. We support the framework in the bill in line with the Constitution to guide the process and procedures for expropriation of property, including land, by organs of state. We support, in particular, Clause 12C, which allows where expropriation without compensation may be just and equitable in terms of the Constitution and in the public interest for property and land earmarked for socio-economic reform and redistribution. We support that the expropriating authority is the state, since the bill is about public interest and public process, and we must determine those instances where compensation may be paid, Clause 12A, and where no compensation will be paid, Clause 12C. This is a function of the government, not the courts. And if anyone has grievances, they have the right to approach the courts. Courts cannot be the ones to make.
Your time is up, madam. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think I've.
Goedemorgen, Madam Speaker. Ik is Clive Witbooi en ik vertegenwoordig die personen met gestremdhede in Knysna. Ik, Clive Witbooi, van die organisatie Knysna Personen met Gestremdhede, ondersteun die wetsontwerp op de eindiging nummer 23 van 2011 parlementswet. Die wetsontwerp maakt voorziening voor een rechtvaardige en billijke proces om de waardigheid van ons mensen te herstellen en de aanspraak van toepassing tot eiendom en grond en oneindiging daarvan zonder vergoeding soos van toepassing. Alhoewel ik hier die wetsontwerp ondersteun, jammer, geloof ik dat die definitie van die oneindig ouder opgeklaard en beter gedelegeerd moet worden. Huidige beschrijft die definitie dat is oneindig ouder, wat betekent ouder van ongeregistreerde recht op eiendom enzovoort. Sorry. Wat betekent die ouder van de ongeregistreerde recht op de eiendom als ouder van ongeregistreerde recht op grond of gebouwen als ik stil vernoemd is. Als dit is wat zo'n definitie betekent, dan is ik overtuigd dat de gelegenheid kan scheppen voor mensen om die stelsel te misbruiken en er zelf als ouder van ongeregistreerde rechten voor te doen om zodoende die afhandeling oneindiging te vertragen of te versperren. Verder voer ik dat indien ongeregistreerde rechten volgens hierdie definitie te maken heeft met patenten, handelsmerken en andere rechten wat bekend staan als ontastbaar eiendom, dan moet hierdie deel van die definitie verwijderd worden. Dank u.
Zal die spreker weer zijn naam geven, alsjeblieft? Clive Witbooi. Ik is van die district. I am from this district. It is a fair process to restore dignity, to give back ground and land, and without compensation. Okay? It means that we'll have better government, and justice in ownership will thereby be restored, and we will have unregistered rights which we can regain on property. This is an opportunity to prevent abuse, and it will eventually also mean that we can get rid of unregistered patents and other intangible rights which exist that can be given to those who need them.
Mijn naam is Wisila Jack Hamza. Woon hier in Kailetu. Ik heb in 1997 begonnen om stenen te maken. Toen maak ik eigenlijk een groepje. Eerst om een gemeenschap onze eigen huizen te gaan bouwen. Toen veel hij groepje. Toen ga ik nou bezigheid, toen verkoop ik nou die stenen. Geen dag is die Oteba naar mij toe gekomen en gezegd over mijn spelletheid. Hier is een man, support die man. Nou, als de 10 huizen, laat je ook een stukje brood op je tafel. Het nooit die tot nu nog toe. Het is nooit, het is zwak. Alles 4 mensen, 4 comité's voor die. Kijk eens, je gemeenschap. Ander ding weer, heb ik weer aangesteld. Ander ding aangesteld, agriculture, hier zei. Jullie kan zien, hier zei. Tot nu nog, die grond onderkant mij. Het heb 6 weken heb ik applicatie gedaan bij spelletheid om die grond te krijgen. Om te planten. Dat ons kan kost, voor ons gemeenschap, overal kan kost krijgen. Tot nu nog. Het die dame, alle dames gaan naar diezelfde dame toe. Die dame gaan naar die bossen toe. Hebben mijn spelletheid. Dinges en dinges maak. Die machine daar aangetrokken en laat hij zien. Toen kwam hij over 2 dagen, toen ik de kost gaan halen voor de oude mensen bij Pick and Pay. Toen terugkomt, toen zei die oude wat voor mij, die palen zullen aangezet het verheinen. Toen zei Anne Witman was hier geweest in mijn spelletjes, die zei je moet hem morgen komen zien. Toen ga ik. Toen zei vrij voor mij, toen zei ik nee, ik heb 6 weken al reeds aanzoek gedaan. Om te kunnen planten, agriculture, ik is registreer. Ik is registreer. Je was een man van het parlement, die papieren. Alles. Man van het parlement wat die geweest is, zo'n dik oude man. Toen ik aangesteld als een agriculture man geweest. Tot nu nog heb ik nooit een grond gekregen. Nou, wat op diezelfde grond waar ik zo geplant heb, die mensen bouwen nou daar zo. Die treibas van hier zo betekent niks. Nee, alles frot. Het is jammer om dat te zeggen. Kijk, als je voor je mensen staan, al het een gepimpt, je gaat tot bij die persoon eerst. Vind uit, wat is story nu? Dan zal je met die story horen, wat is die story? Je gaat niet zomaar naar je directeur toe, nee, die nog iemand die persoon. Kijk, je werkt voor die gemeenschap. Als je voor die gemeenschap werkt, als er een probleem opduikt omtrent hem, ga naar hem toe en met die persoon. Soort die zaak uit. Kan je zien wie is recht en wie is verkeerd. Ik doe alles wettig. Die constitutie dat ik laat doen, dat kost me 8000. Die man, ik moet hem betalen. Maar hij BNW wat hij gestoord heeft, die zorg moet hem nog betalen. 15.000. Ik kan niet planten, ik kan niks doen.
Your time is up. Thank you, sir.
Hello, my name is Vuyisile Chekamba. I've been making bricks so we can build houses. Some black committee members came, asked for support, but municipalities didn't allow me to take land below my plant. This area was fenced off by a white man the next day. I have documents to prove that it's registered. But then a man of parliament gave me. The Tsekas, the councillors, allow me to build on my land. but this never happened. If you work for a community, you get no support. I have to pay for land and for a car, but I don't have any money to plant with. It's 15,000 Rand. I have no money to pay for it. Thank you.
Molweni nonke. Ndivumeleni ndithi ngqanga nentsiba zayo. Mna ndingumhlali ongummi wezomzantsi Afrika and represent nawuphi na umbutho. But ngokweli lixa ndilapha u-ANC ndithi ulunge kanye xa esithi umhlaba mawuthathwe ungakhange kube kanti uthathwa ngaphandle kwenhlawulo. Kudala siwulindile umhlaba. Sinazo izakhono zokwenza izinto kwindawo esiphuma kuzo siphuma sisazi okubana indlela zokuphila zinjani na kulo mhlaba. Kodwa ekugqibeleni siphela singamaxhoba olwaphulo mthetho ngenxa yento okubana asinawo umhlaba. Abo bathi wona umhlaba mawungathathwa asoze kube mnandi xa ususwa esityeni apho ubutyela khona usiva kamnandi kuba urhulumente wayethathela umhlaba ngabantu abangasekhoyo kungoku nje seyinzalelwane nje yabo ngoku. Abazuva kamnandi ke xa kusithiwa umhlaba mawuthathwe umhlaba wona u-ANC ndimsapota kakhulu kuleyo indawo andijiki tu ayindigungqi kuleyo into iyona nto ifanelekileyo ngokubana abantu bakuthi apha ekuhlaleni sinenkomo inkomo zethu zihambe zisitya amacingo ziqhawula amacingo zihambe ziyongena ezindleleni but ukuba umhlaba ubukhona bingazukwenzeka yonke loo nto leyo. Sinamaxeko ekuhlaleni nam kwi-age yam xa ndinothi gqi ndisithi ndingumfama kuzawuthiwa ndi-emerging farmer. Kwi-age yam kuzothi gqi umntana ozalelwe ebhotolweni ona-19 years athi gqi yena kusithiwa uyiwina uthathe eyona ndawo iphambili kwifamisa. ANC ndiyakusapota mawuthathe umhlaba ngaphandle kwentlawulo. Inkosi.
All protocol observed. I'm a South African community member. I'm not representing any organization, but I want to state it categorically clear that I support the ANC with the expropriation of land without compensation.
Kancinci nje, the name?
It did not give, that this is a South African community member.
Thank you.
Samiwonga Vazi. I fully support the ANC that the land must be expropriated without compensation because we used to stay here making a living out of the land. But today I understand there are people who are opposed to this bill. I understand the reason why, because the people who took the land away from our forefathers were their great-grandfathers. So I understand it's not easy for them to be taken away from the riches that they are used to. We as the people of South Africa, we don't have land. We end up becoming victims of crime because we don't have land to make a living. And yet if I can get a piece of land, I can make a living out of it. Some of us do have livestock like cattle in the townships where we are staying. Those cattle don't have enough grazing land and they end up breaking through the fence and go to other people's property because they need to graze on a good piece of land. And furthermore, as old as I am, if I can manage to start a farming, I'll be labeled as emerging farmer. But within no time, you might find a young boy of 18 years who might come up, maybe from a rich family, will be regarded as a commercial farmer, more advanced than me at my age, whilst I'm 60-something, and he is about 18 years. In those words, I support the ANC stance that the land must be expropriated without compensation.
Good day, members of parliament, your excellencies, Royal Majesty, the Crown Queen and the King. On a point that I would like to raise is, how are we going to handle social cohesion when it comes to land appropriation and expropriation? Currently, like we saw with Bell Pottinger, in the media when the British Parliament found out that they were doing stuff on social media influencing racial tension. Because currently, even on YouTube, you have certain people that are actually making noise saying that white people that are poor are currently living in concentration camps because they're poor. So the other thing is, with the Land Appropriation Act, we would also like to know how is the municipality going to get money back, because a lot of these rich areas in town, right, we in the locations pay more property tax than they do. There are people who have 44 hectares of land here in Knysna, and that estate is valued at 3 million rand, which is utterly ridiculous. My house is valued at 980,000. I pay almost 8,000 rand in tax per year, compared to someone paying 22,000 rand on a 44-hectare property that is valued at 3 million. That's the issues we kind of have now at this moment within Knysna, which we find is utterly ridiculous. It's appalling. It's really appalling, because the poor are keeping the rich rich, and we're staying poor. We're living like sardines. So that's why the youth of Knysna in general support the Act of Land Appropriation without compensation, but we need a plan for social cohesion and racial tension that will happen once the Act goes through. Thank you.
My name is Peter Dixon. I'm born here in Knysna, in the Outeniqua tribe, Khoisan people, and I'm a victim of the Group Areas Act of the 69. And my roots is I was all the years a member of the Tripartite Alliance, Kusatu, in the National Union of Mine Workers, the energy side. And this issue of land, it did affect me personally. So, and because I know the rules and the way the government moved at the time, that I want to state it here that this is a more important factor, land. Land is so important that we need the land that belongs to us, the land that was took from us. And now I don't know what it is with I government taking so slow with the thing that is so serious for I people to be free in the land that belong to theirs. So I just stand here to say I am in support of this bill. And wrong was did to I. Justice means they must do wrong now to those that did wrong in the first place. And give I land. And if there's not land, give I money or other land. Just leave.
Chairperson, members of the Portfolio Committee, leaders of the Knysna Municipal Council, traditional leaders, religious leaders, leaders and members of the political parties, community members present here. Mnandingumaka Zukiswe Chefuta, the Regional Secretary of the South African National Civic Organization in South Cape. The South African National Civic Organization South Cape Region supports the bill on expropriation of property and land as a just and equitable process to restore the dignity of our people in addressing both access to property and land, and that expropriation of such without compensation is part of that process. For Sanko, this is about redressing historical injustices and dispossession of the black majority. It is also a vital opportunity to unlock growth, distribute the assets, and promote socio-economic transformation. The agency's program provides a way to address the land question and build productive assets for our people. The ANC 54th National Conference resolution states that and I quote, expropriation of land without compensation should be among the key mechanisms available to government to give effect to land reform and redistribution, close quote. We submit that in line with the Constitution of the Republic and the Property Clause, the Expropriation Bill is the draft law of general application that will allow, under certain circumstances, expropriation of property and land without compensation. We support the Expropriation Bill 2020 so as to redistribute property and land to address centuries-old national grievances of land and property forced disposition. We support the framework in the bill in line with the Constitution to guide the process and procedures for expropriation of property, including land, by organs of state. We support in particular Clause 12C, which allows where expropriation without compensation may be just and equitable in terms of the Constitution and in the public interest for property and land earmarked for socio-economic reform and redistribution. Madam Chair, Sanko South Cape region support that the Expropriation Authority is the state, since this bill is about public interest and public purpose and must determine those instances where compensation may be paid and where no compensation will be paid. That is a function of the government, not the courts. And if anyone has a grievance, they have the right to approach the courts. Courts cannot be the ones to make determination of compensation or no compensation. And I thank you, and we support that you must do all that is in your power to expedite the process of passing this bill into law. I thank you.
Molweni, ndinguMelikhaya Blom, District Secretary we-Young Communist League around the Southern Cape. Siyayisapota i-bill, Mama, Madam Chair. Into emenza icela, mendicela ke niwukhawulezise lo mcimbi. At least ndigqithe 10 years oko ndidebata lo mcimbi. Oko ndiphambili ngalo mcimbi. Ndinomama abadala abahlala pha eGeorge. Abanengxaki yalo ingxaki yefama zabo. Ndakhuthazwa ngabo ukuze ndiqale ukuxoxa ngalo mcimbi. Ndiyacela uRural Development ngaske aze eGeorge ocacisela abamama abadala ngalanto, because oko sisiza apha akho nto icacayo. Ndiva kuthi abanifowunela ngolwesihlanu kuthiwa umhlaba wabo uzowuthengiselwa uGolden Harvest kuqokelelwa imali for igqwetha. Ndiyayicela iParliament, into endize lapha ndicela iParliament ibuye iye eGeorge phaa kulaa mhlaba uphaa wabamama uzosicacisela kuqhubeka ntoni. Ingaba lo mhlaba uyathengiswa? Mna ndiyayisapota ibhili. Eyona nto ndizele nina nocela ke niyovizithela eGeorge, kukho oomama abangamafama, siyasokola phaa sicela ucacisela, because lo government we-DA akafuni unikezela, even uvala namanzi that sibeke ne-access yoba silime phaa. Mna ndifundiswe ngabo niyasifundisa, niyasinika ii-programs soba sibe ngamafama, but akho follow up apha eWestern Cape. Ndiyayicela loo nto, ndiyabulela.
I'd like to greet you, Chairperson, and the whole panel. My name is Melikaya Blom. I am from George. I support this bill. However, it's been 10 years now discussing this matter. I have specifically come to represent all the women who practice farming in George, who have a problem with access to land. I would like to ask the panel through you, Chairperson, to come and visit George and explain the process of land expropriation there. These older women have been called on my way here. They are telling me that Golden Harvest is going to buy the land that they are currently using. I ask you dearly, please come and explain and also discuss with them how they could access land. The DA government in the area is even closed access to water. It's a struggle for these women. Please assist.
Thank you to all the speakers that just presented their views. We are going to ask another 10, but the first speaker in this second round would be our senior paramount chief, King Botha. So you may remain where you sit, Chair. Yeah, number 1. Number 2, in the same row, there's a hand. Oh, there's no hand. Number 2 at the back, number 3. Once we point at you, please come to the seat forward. Another hand there. Ma. Any other hand? Yes. Join the line. Any other hand? Oh, we are fine. Okay. Can we take then the roving mic to the chief?
Good morning, Chairperson. Kai Ches, Kai Huas, Mire. For those who don't know, I am Senior Paramount Chief, King Gona Cornelius Botha. I'm from the Gona Sekwe Royal Kingdom. I don't know why South African people or government of regimes and political parties are not stopping their joke where they are busy with. This land was never stolen or stolen or taken away from any political party in South Africa. It's stolen from my forefathers. They were raped, they were killed, and today you want to come and talk about land expropriation without compensation. What did you lose? You lost nothing. You don't have respect for the First Nation. And I'm telling you, I won't rest until the land is not half of it, fully back into the hands of the kingdom where it belongs. Madam Speaker, long enough this government disrespect the Khoi and the San, so it means that there are no difference between them and the apartheid Boere. They all are the same, just changing their colors. My people don't have land. They drop them when their houses burn in Karatara. They drop them somewhere there at a place. And just left them. If they are so-called leaders, why can't they make plan that they have decent place to stay? But I see nowadays you build houses like toilets. Small. I can't even put in my bed. I can't even put in my wireless. So, is that the way how God wants us as South Africans, want to live in a country? Is it a decent life? When a president pays 116,000 a month and you pay a fat check and run every day to someone and say, vote for me, I will give you a better life. Then you turn your back on them and said, you must do that and you must do that. I'm telling you, I'm going to court one day. And that day is soon. Very soon. And make a case and open a case for in possession of stolen land. And I wonder where will you go with your parliament and your Titanic that you are busy building for yourself, a dream that won't come true. Enough is enough. As the king, I declare war against this bill. Because you can't expropriate something that didn't belong to you. And without consulting with me, the true leader of South Africa and the Khoi and the San. My people, we can't just say we agree upon everything and you think that they will give it to you. They will just do the same, like the apartheid Boere give it to certain friends and all the others are slaves on that land. This nonsense must stop. And I have a message for a municipality who give land since 1st April to anybody in South Africa. It's null and void because the Khoi and the San are recognized by your constitution. And if we are not part of that discussion, that land is in, I'm telling you, you all will go to jail. So stop your nonsense. And your acting, telling people you can help them with that and helping with that. And the last sentence I want to do is the simple thing that happens a few months ago. When the ANC think that the Khoi and the San is happy to put in a Chinese in their parliament. I'm not happy. Didn't mean when I'm quiet, I'm not happy. While the same people trying to kill the whole world, you make them ministers in your parliament. What a joke. And think we need to have respect for you. I don't have respect. I want the land back. And this bill is your signature. Your signature. You know where to? You know where to? Back where you're coming from. Because in the end of the day, don't worry about who see me and who didn't see me, my brother. Please. I want everyone to understand one thing. This land belongs to any political party, and we won't listen to them, and we won't do. And the last thing that I forgot is that nonsense where people were locked up in jail. Just here, what is that place name? Kransbos and that. I want the judge to make his judgment so that I can show him what is the right judgment for people who are just taking back what belongs to them. the same department. It's the same public works. It's public works that going to court with him, meaning that they are the heroes. It's disgusting to go with the First Nation to court about land. I told them, go to court, because we wait for their judgment. If the judgment is made, we will decide if it is wrong or is it right. No court is above the First Nation or South Africa. I am not under the Roman law, and I won't stand under the Roman Dutch law. I am not stupid. I know who I am. I am the first indigenous leader of South Africa, and we will soon open our own court and bring in our own laws. Amase.
Executive Mayor, I greet you this morning. My name is Moisi Makalela, Ward 4, Johnson Tatase branch.
Just a little bit.
Closer.
Can we try to minimize noise, please? Can you then start from the beginning? Thank you.
Greetings to you, Chair. My name is Moisi Makalela. I come from Johnson Tatase branch, Ward 4, Knysna sub-region, Victor Molosi region, Western Cape. I am in support of this bill. As an ANC Knysna, we do support this bill. The bill allows for a just and equitable process to restore the dignity of our people in addressing access to property and land, and the expropriation of such without compensation is applicable. I believe that the definition of the word court must make provision for and include the land court. As we know, the land court specializes in dispute that arises from the application of laws underpinning South Africa's land reform initiatives. When this expropriation bill becomes an act, it will automatically become one of the acts that will inform the work of the land court. Very importantly, I believe that clause C under the definition of court must be deleted. Clause C says, and I quote, "In the case of intangible property, the court, etc." My understanding is that intangible property using legal definition refers to non-physical substances such as brand identity, intellectual property, patents, copyrights, and licenses. Based on my understanding that this bill focuses on the expropriation of property and land and does not deal with intangible property, clause C must be removed. We have specific laws and policies that deal with intangible property, and these should be used for court challenges on such matters. Finally, Chair, I believe the retaining clause C on intangible property can have an unintended consequences of eroding domestic and foreign investors' confidence, as well as impact innovative economic growth and development. And I repeat, I support this bill. Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Levelle Davis. I honor all protocol that's here this morning. I represent the Democratic Alliance. I'm the constituency chairperson. I'm also a ward councillor in Knysna, on the Knysna Council. Yeah, basically, It's very important to state that the Democratic Alliance is committed to land reform and land transformation. The challenge is that we have a serious problem with this bill. And as a result, we cannot support this bill for a number of reasons. Example, in the bill, it speaks about property, public purpose, public interest, but it doesn't define it accurately. And I mean, if you're not going to define it accurately, it means there's opportunity for corrupt or corruption, either officials or politicians, to then reward, or we've seen what's happening all over South Africa, and the same thing can happen with the distribution of property. Property relates to all property and is not limited to land. It says in the bill. So this creates a lot of confusion, suggesting that any property can be expropriated, not only land. The previous speaker spoke about intellectual property and other types of property, which is really ridiculous, and I mean, we cannot support this bill for that. Another statement that is made, and a term is made, is intangible property. Now, we believe that this should be removed from the bill. You know, it's only mentioned once, and it's undefined. It doesn't give you a clear indication of what exact process must be followed. And so we know that from previous hearings and previous comments, people have made it clear that this particular issue about land expropriation without compensation, or at least the amending the Section 25 of the Constitution, does make provision for null compensation. We've seen it. So it then becomes unlawful for us then to want to pursue this when we know that the current Constitution actually says that we can do this. Now, when we go to Section 12 of the bill, and I've just made some notes here, if you look at Section 12.3, it speaks to null compensation, and then it gives you 5 circumstances listed on why, etc., on when this will happen. And then it has a statement afterwards at the end of the sentence which says, but not limited to. Now, obviously, this statement alone, it opens up a lot of issues where null compensation. So in other words, we need to give now a number of reasons people can give it based on null compensation. And I mean, so this affects anyone. It's not only you that's living in the suburbs. It's also you that's living in the B&G house. Because if somebody wants to take your house, it also affects you, or take that property because it belonged to someone else before you. It can also be a problem. Then if you look at Section 12.3a, it limits the right of people to speculate on property. Now, I don't know about you, but I want to know that if I have a property, whether I'm living in the location or whether I'm living in town, I want to know that my property can give me value and my property can be an asset. So that I have a problem with as well, and we have a problem with. Section 12.3c identifies abandoned land as being subjected to null compensation. I mean, this is dangerous. I mean, if you just have that sort of blanket approach, I mean, it opens us up to land grabs, which is a serious problem. And then, of course, there are other procedural issues with the bill, which we don't want to deal with. But I think that, thank you, that's all I want to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mandibulise kumhlali ngaphambili lona othethayo nguzukile Rhorhwana uphuma kula mhlaba wakuqumbu kwindawo yaseTsilethu kodwa ke ngokuhlala uhlala apha ePlatindeck Bay ndixelenga kula masipala waseBito Municipality. Apha ndimele lo mbutho wam oyi-Active United Front. Si-United Front, i-AUF, siyasapota lo mthetho oyilwayo ukuthi umhlaba mawuthathwe ubuyele ebaninini bawo. Sawukhumbula okokuqala lo mhlaba waphucwa kobawo omkhulu bethu. Uphucwa ngaphandle kokunikezwa kwengcaciso. Uthathwa ngonganasini futhi uxuthwa ufana noba wawubiwa. Zange kuthiwa makucaciswe why kuxuthwa omkhulu umhlaba because kaloku umhlaba bubutyebi bantu bakuthi. Ngoku sinengxaki yokungabi namhlaba, abefuyi abanandawo zokwafuya. Imfuyo yabo ukuze itye emadlelweni because imihlaba ekhoyo ngoku iyi-private. Sinengxaki nabefuyi abefuyile ihagu, abalimi sikwixesha elibi ngoku le-COVID-19. Abantu ngoku kufuneka bavuke bazenzele. But abantu abakwazi kulima because abanamhlaba, akho mhlaba enough ophangeleleyo. Bayasokola abantu bakuthi. Omasipala bethu leadership abakhokheleyo batyotyelwa imihla nezolo. Abantu bafuna izindlu, akukho umhlaba ndawo yokwakhela abantu for izindlu. Kuphethwa kusakhiwa hide and seek. Ezazindlu kasizifuni ngoba thina singabantwana bomgquba abenza amasiko. So siyawusupporta ukuthi umhlaba mawubuye mawuthathwe ngaphandle kwembuyekezo. Enkosi.
I'm Zukile Kokwana from Plaid. Originally, I'm from Qumbu in the Eastern Cape. Greetings to the chairperson. I speak here representing my organization, the United Front. We as the United Front, we support this bill that land must be expropriated without compensation. This land was taken from our father forcefully and without mercy. People need land to make a living. Where we are staying, we have a problem with our livestock like pigs and etc. Where they don't have grazing land. And yet if people can get land, at least they can find a way of making their life easy. Because there's a lot of unemployment outside there, but if there could be land, people can find a way of making a living. And during COVID, it is said people should do it for themselves, but without land, there's nothing that people can do. Therefore, we request that this process should be fast-tracked. We need land. The land must be expropriated and be given back.
Good morning, Madam Chair and other members present here this morning. My name is Lance Aiken. I represent my wife and a family who belongs to the Restonia Trust, who assists families who have preferred land in Knysna. And they were forcefully removed plus minus 40 years ago from a place called Old Place, which are located on your right-hand side if you travel from here to town. And some of the families even went as far as to put up structures because they've been fighting as the Restonia Trust in Knysna for plus minus 20 years to get this land back. And like I said, some of the families went even to put up temporary structures but were broken down by the local authorities. And I want any assistance from our chair, madam, if she can come to Knysna again so that we can show her where this place is located and to assist us in helping us to get the land back. I thank you.
Gama lami ngimnake le Nkobe nguluzuko. Elengcinezele kwenguJerry. Ngingu-regional organizer we-EFF. The EFF support i-bill. Kodwa ke sinengxakenye. Umhlaba ngowethu angoweParliament. AngokwaPitch Bison lo uhlala pha eAmerica ngowalapha ngowabantu. Support i-bill. Nayo into esicelayo inye kwiParliament. Bese Moselbase sithatha le ndwinye bese Oudtshoorn sithetha into eyi-1 siyacela kokoko manje kanisipidiseni manje please ixesha liyahamba sizode ngoku siguge nathi abantwana bethu benganamhlaba. Inkosi.
Greetings. My name is Zuko. Another one is Jerry. I'm the regional organizer of the EFF in the area. We ask that this process be fast-tracked. We are going to grow old before the land is restored back to its rightful owners. Our children are going to lean back, are going to need the land. Please do this as soon as possible. The EFF supports the expropriation bill.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Chairperson and your contingency. My name is Langa, and I am representing the South African Communist Party in the Southern Cape District. The South African Communist Party surely and very confidently supports the bill. This bill allows for a just and equitable process to restore the dignity of our people in addressing access to property and land, and the expropriation of such without compensation is applicable. While we support the bill, we believe the definition of property and public purpose must be better clarified. The current definition in the bill of property means property as contemplated in Section 25 of the Constitution. Because Section 25 of the Constitution is still being amended, and there might be extension of a little bit more than 2 months, with these amendments, we submit that the definition should be property means, for the purposes of this act, immovable property that is suitable and appropriate for purposes of public good and in public interest. Such an amendment will clarify the property expropriated in terms of this act with compensation or with no compensation, does not include an individual personal possession such as cars, pension fund, bank accounts, etc. The current definition of public purpose in the bill is public purpose includes any purposes connected with the administration of the provision of any law by any organ of state. We propose that this be amended to read as public purpose means by any purpose connected with advancing the adequate or the equitable socio-economic development of the country. We believe that the amending of the definition of this in this way will close the gap for endless litigation and court cases on whether the expropriation was indeed connected to administration or of law and how the administration serves in a public purpose or in public interest, and ensure there is no opportunity for property to be expropriated for corrupt or other nefarious purposes. Ensure that the main purpose of the bill, which is to expropriate land and other immovable property in pursuance of the country's land reform and socio-economic development. May I end off by saying, the very ANC that has fought so hard to deliver the people of this country is becoming a victim of the very same people. Thank you very much.
My name is Stephen Kelembe from Plate Farmers Association, Kwano Farmers Association. I'm a farmer as well. Let me start by saying there is no secret that the land the land is in the hands of the white farmers. There's no secret about that. And as the farmers or the emerging farmers in Platinum Bay, Kwano, we are in fully support of the Expropriation Bill 2020. We are fully supporting of the bill. And furthermore, we want to say that
In Platt or in Kwan or whatever, or in Pito, there are about 265 emerging farmers, and all the farmers there, they don't have land. It's either, if we want land, either the government is going to lease land for us, or either we occupy the land illegally. We therefore support the bill and also request that Parliament should speed up the process so that we can have land for black farmers. Thank you.
Ndiyabulisa kumphathi, ndibulise kubantu ahamba nabo basepalamente enkosi. Mna ndingufuniwe Kutu, ndimele i-ANC. Ndiyawuthanda kakhulu lo mbutho. Into ebangela uba ndibe lapha namhlanje, ndiyayisapota ibill yomhlaba ekhutshwe nguKhongolose yento yokokuba umhlaba mawuthathwe ngaphandle kwembuyekezo. Ngoba kaloku xa sinokuqwalasela kakuhle, abelungu banomhlaba kwiyadi enye, umlungu abe nezindlu ezintathu, of which thina sokha uforum kube kuphelele. Asikwazi abantwana bethu funeke bayokokha amatyotyombe. Sihlala nehagu, singabamelwane kunye nehagu neenkomo. Abelungu iinkomo zabo zisemafama. So umhlaba wethu woba womkhulu mawubuyele kuthi, bangahlawulwa nesenti abelungu enkosi.
I am Funiwe Kutu from the ANC, the organization I love so much. Greetings to the chairperson and the panel. The reason why I'm here to support the expropriation of land without compensation. If you look well, take note of the whites where they are staying. In the premises where they stay, they can build even 3 houses. And yet we are only confined on a 4-roomed house with no space surrounding it. If we have children, our children need some rooms. They need to go and stay in informal settlements. So I support this bill. Even where we are staying, we stay with our livestock. And yet the white man's livestock is in the grazing land, in the farms. Where we are staying, we have to sacrifice and live with our livestock as well. So I support the bill. Land must be expropriated without compensation.
Allemaal, wees gegroet. Allemaal, meneer Van Aswegen, jij ingesluit. Sorry? Ik zet hem af. Welkom allemaal. Wees gegroet. Allemaal. Mijn naam is Enid Fredericks. Ik is deel van Restonia Trust. Voor de afgelopen 44 jaar bly ik in Honley. Mijn jongste seun Edmund Fredericks, daar zit hij daarachter, is in Isfit gebore. Die school Isfit is vandag Montessori school. Ik wil vir julle vertel wat er daai tyd aangegaan het. Bishop Steynton, ek was 13, 14 jaar oud wat mama my vertel het. Dis kerkgrond. Ons was afgeforceer van ons grond af. Hier is 'n foto van ons huis waar Edmund gebore is. Sy naaldstrom lê aan in Isfit nou nog. Daar's agreements, Henry Rode, Boetie Rode, deel van Restonia Trust wat op fokus al was. Waar sy begrawe, ons sukkel nog altyd. Daardie skool van wat ek skool gegaan het wat Montessori is. Het baie van lede wat miskien hier sit, meneer van Aswegen het ook nie ver van ons af gebly nie. Maar onze mense was geforseer van daardie grond af. Dit was gesê die kleerlinge moet Bigai toe gaan. En my African broers en sisters moet netjies toe gaan. Die bulldozers het gekom van die munisipaliteit en die mense se huise plat gestoot. Baie mense het die karre gehad, die voertuie gehad die. Oom Lia Reverend moet ons so goed aangery het, Honli toe. Ons mense wat moet netjies toe gegaan het, die ou mense, die jongeres, moet met hulle tafels, hulle stoele, hulle beddens op hulle koppe geloop het, wat die voertuie gehad het, die waaien. Is het reg? Geforseer, hoe gaan julle voel? As julle huise moet plat gestoot word, en julle word geforseer. Ons het nie keuse gehad nie, ons moes gaan het. Ons kan nie wie ons is, God het ons kleerling gemaakt, wit, swart, pink, pers, of wat jou kleer ook al is. Maar dis nie reg nie. Ek het vir die Here gebid, ek het al hoeveel mense gevra, stuur vir Toko te Disa op my pad. Mag die Here julle vorentoe seën, en gee net my grond terug, waar ek beeste, bokke, hoenders gehad het, eende gehad het, al die goed moes gaan losgehad, die varkens se penne, saan seker nou nog gekaan iets vir. Dis nie reg nie. Ek wil nie bly soos ek wil nie bly. Hierdie man, meneer van Aswegen, het al baie keer van baie goede van my gedoen, wat nie nodig is om hier te, maar elke keer loop mense in 'n muur vas. Die Here seën julle ryklik. Pambili!
Welcome to everyone. Everyone is welcome. My name is Enid Fredericks. I'm from the Estonia Trust. For 44 years, where my son was born, Edwin Frederick, in Easton, we want to tell our story, the story that Bishop Staten brought out. Here's a photo of our house. There were agreements. We were struggling. We were struggling to get the school. The coloreds had to go to one side and the blacks had to go to another. We were even walking there with our tables and chairs on our heads, and our houses were raised on foot. How would you feel? We've prayed for you. God bless you. Bring me back to the place where my cows and chickens and cattle were. They did so much to me. I've suffered, and we don't want to suffer anymore.
Greeting to everyone, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Pastor A.A. Smokey. I'm coming from, or I must say, I was born from Willowvale. I'm a Willowvale man as I'm standing here. But I'm living in the Plettenberg Bay. Ndifuna nje ukuthi ANC ndiyawuxhasa lo mbono oba mawubuye lo mhlaba ngaphandle kwembuyekezo. Kodwa ndifuna ukutsho nje ukuthi sekukudala ngoku kwathiwa sifumene inkululeko. Bekumele ba asikho kwalapha, kumele ba sewabuya kudala umhlaba uba ngabana ibiserious. So into endizoyicela nje kuyo mayingalibazisi, mayenze lento efunwa ngabantu uba umhlaba ubuyele kubanikazi bawo ngaphandle kwembuyekezo. Uba into yayibiwe ibiwe kuwe uze umbhaqe umuntu oyibileyo, uyahamba uyoyithatha le nto awumbhatalisele. So ndicinga njalo ke ba nomhlaba uba ngabana wabiwa mawuphinde ubuyele ngaphandle kwembuyekezo. Enkosi.
Greetings to everybody, Chairperson and your panel. I am Pastor A.A. Smongi, originally from Willowvale. I now reside in Plettenberg Bay. I support the ANC's Expropriation Bill. It's been a long time since we got liberated, but we are still talking about the same issue of land. There should be no more delays. If something was stolen from you, you can't pay to get it back. Therefore, I say there should be no more delays. The land must be brought back to its rightful owners.
We have the speakers that are about to speak, but they came when we were already inside. Just few ground rules. You have only 3 minutes to present your view. You introduce yourself and then tell us the political party, if you are coming from the political party, the traditional council, if it's the traditional council, and even if you are just here as an individually representing a trust or whatever, you're free to do so, and then present your view whether you support the bill or you do not support the bill, and the reasons, of course. Because we have limited numbers inside, we have asked those that are outside, those that would like to speak, to join the queue. So this 5 is from outside. And then any other speaker inside the hall, and this is our very last round. Any other speaker inside the hall? Oh, okay, your worship, the mayor, you will also be part of this. Maybe, let's say, we'll close with you. Please join the queue yourself, Ma, and that one. So we have 3 here. Speaker, now we join the queue. The mayor will be the last one. Your hand was up, Mama. Yeah, uSpeaker maka join. Savala ngomeya. Oh, okay. Join the queue. This is our last round of speakers. This is if the chairs are not enough, can we add other chairs? No, we'll add the chairs if they are not enough. We have another speaker. Can you please go there, just at the end of the queue? Thank you. So we won't take any other person other than these that are on the queue now. Can we then again reduce the level of noise so that we are able to listen to the speakers?
Good morning, all. I greet everyone, starting with the mayor, the deputy mayor, and also the chairperson, and all the members of parliament and all the dignitaries. I also acknowledge the king amongst us. En dan ook allemaal wat vandaag gekom het. I think it's important for us to be able to give our input and a view. Oh, sorry, I'm a Reverend, Ralph Stander, from the Knysna Land Committee. Kom ek praat Afrikaans. Soos vorige sprekers gesê het, Ek is gebore in Knysna. En my familie was uitgesit waar ons gebly het. En soos vorige sprekers ook gesê het, die kleerling mense, en nie net kleerlinge, ons was die nie wit mense het reg oor Knysna gebly, Teeson Eiland, Lesher Island, Eastford, Westford, Oudplaas, al die plekke waar jy nou 10 miljoen rand betaal vir huis, dis waar ons gebly het. En ons allemaal was afgesit daar so. En ons was geforst om in klein hokkietjies te bly. En only. En nadat ons daar gebly het, baie van ons ouers dood as gevolg van pyn in hulle harte. En dan natuurlijk die crime en al die social probleme wat daarmee gepaard gaan, dit is hartroerend. So ons is baie bly vir opportunity wat daar is, waar ons nou kan praat oor 'n bill om ons dignity te restore. Nou ek persoonlik support die bill. Ek dink is 'n goeie saak, maar daar is 'n paar goed wat miskien net by gesit moet word. Die bill praat van 1913 af op, maar wat van al die grond voor 1913? Ek dink dit is 'n baie belangrike punt, sodat ons net by die punt kan kom waar ons praat van wat gebeur met die grond voor 1913. Daar so het die boer het gery, daar moet die perd, en daar wat die perd omgeval het, daar so dat het dan is het sy grond. So, ja, so dis hoe mense grond gekry het, so, maar nou, wat nou eintlik gebeur is, die grond gaan nie aangeraak word nie. Die ander belangrike punt is om ook die kooi en die san se pleas en wat hulle op die tafel sit, om dit te acknowledge. So ons moet sien hoe gaan ons seker maak dat die bill nie die kooi en die san uitsluit nie. Dan is daar so, ek bly nou nie in KwaZulu-Natal nie, maar daar net mees nou die Ingoma Trust. Die Ingoma Trust word deur die mense beklei nou oor die trust, en mense kan nie so 'n situasie wil hê waar het grond. I'm wrapping up. Die Ingoma Trust is belangrik dat ons moet kyk aan dit, en dan grond vir koninkryke en vir konings moet gelyk verdeel word aan al die kingdoms, en dit kan nie net vir een kingdom kan dit gaan nie. Baie dankie.
Thank you. My name is Reverend Ralph Sandler. I want to greet everyone that came today. I belong to the Knysna Land Trust. I was born in Knysna. My family was displaced, as others have said. The Coloureds lived everywhere in Knysna and Teeson's Island throughout, as did other non-whites. We were forced to leave and live in little huts. This brought with it at the same time the crime and the social problems that accompany that. Now is the chance the opportunity to rebuild our dignity, and we support the bill. The bill can be amended, however. What happens to land after it has been expropriated? In the old days, the boer would ride on his horse until it collapsed, and that would be his land. We must also attend to the case, and this is important in the bill, then acknowledge the koi and the san and ensure that they are given recognition in this bill. I don't stay in the KwaZulu-Natal, and there the Ingonyama Trust is in charge of a large portion of land. We believe that that is the way in which the land should be distributed amongst people and given back to those who owned it.
Molweni emini nje ndinguxolelwa kaQwayi xa ndizilanda ndingumthembukazi inkosazana ndingumamgcina Okwangoku ndikula mhlaba wase Plettenberg Bay ndisuka khona ndikulo mbutho kaJuju. Into eyenzekayo ebangela uba ndibe lapha namhlanje ndibe ndingaqali. Kudala ndithetha into enye ndizawuthetha ngam ndindodwa. Ndiyawuxhasa lo mbono othi umhlaba mawubuyele kubaniniwo. Ndinezizathu zininzi. Ndimdala qha ndimfutshane. Imbali yethu esuka kokhoko abandikhulisileyo mna indivisa kabuhlungu. Ngaphandleni koyixelelwa ngabo ndiyifundile esikolweni. Sasilawula sasinomhlaba ongowethu kodwa namhlanje siyancukhalaza. Namhlanje sihlala koveza inyawo kodwa sasinomhlaba. Barojwa obawomkhulu umhlaba ongowabo kodwa namhlanje funeka simane sizowuma simane sithreatenishwa nangecourt ngomhlaba wethu owawuthathwe kubo owarojwa kubo. Ne? Namhlanje funeka simane sicacisa bakutheni siwufuna back umhlaba kodwa ngoka wawuthathwa azange kubuzwe nto ukuthi kwavela kwenziwa. Namhlanje siphila kabuhlungu. Asikwazi ulima. Sihlala nemfuyo eziyadini zethu kwizindlu zethu ezingoveza inyawo. Ndithi xa ndivula umnyango ibe yibhokhwe ingquba umnyango ngempondo. Andikwazi ukwenza ngakumbi. Andikwazi uyisaphi ngoba kaloku ndinyanzelekile ndihlale nayo apha eyadini. Kodwa sasinawo umhlaba. Kukhulu ukuthetha ixesha lifutshane. Futhi into ebangela uba makube kufutshane ukuthetha kwam ingichana ngaphakathi into bafuneka simane singathi sizowucenga. Sisacenga bethunana. Sisacela mawubuye umhlaba ubuyele kubaniniwo. Bakhona bathetha nge40 years ne50 years. Ba ndazalelwe endaweni ethile. It's been 50 years, it's been 40 years ndihlala kula ndawo. Mincinci la minyaka because la minyaka ihamba neminyaka endiphile yona mna apha ezantsi emhlabeni. So indenza emotional into yoba sihleli nje sithetha into enye siyacenga. Ayikho mnandi. Babhupho babomkhulu. Babhupho tamkhulu. Siyabhupha nathi. Oko sikhala sithi umhlaba mawuphinde ubuyele kubaniniwo. Sisacenga.
I am Kolelwa from Platt in the organization of Juju, the EFF. The reason why I'm here to say I support the view of bringing back the land, that the land must be returned. I have reasons why I say so. I am old, but I am just short. We need land for housing. Where we are staying, we stay with our livestock. We are struggling to find a way of living. It's like we are pleading today when we say land must be returned back. We have to state reasons as to why do we want the land back, what are we going to do with the land and all that. But I'm saying even the time allocation, it makes me to be very emotional because it's a long history, the history of land. Land was taken from our forefathers with no explanation, no mercy shown. So I'm still saying, even now, we are still prepared to plead. I've been on this earth more than 40 years, but the issue of land is an old problem that still needs to be resolved. So we support the view that the land must be returned to its rightful owners.
Molweni bahlali. Ndigama lam ndingumkhululi ifane ngupasi ndikulo mbutho we-EFF. Ndiyayisupporta le bill. Umhlaba mawubuyele ebantwini. Iluhlazo kakhulu into yoba sithi singabemi beli lizwe. Ngelo xesha asinamhlaba. Iluhlazo kakhulu loo nto leyo. Into esime ngayo yi-ID. Abantu bathi noba sebezakhela indawo imatyotyomba apha bakhutshwa kakubi badilizela indawo zabo zokuhlala ngokungathi ayingabeli lizwe. Iluhlazo ke loo nto leyo, umhlaba mawubuyele ebantwini bawo. Ndizalelwe ke kwifama kumhlaba wasePort Alfred. Abazali bam bangcwatyelwa pha kula fama. Ndithetha nje nani andikwazi nokuya kumadlaka wabo ngoba ndivumelekanga ngamabhulu walo fama. Mawubuyele umhlaba ebantwini ukuze nathi sikwazi ufuya. Ikhona ke into emane uthetheka ethi i-food security, ilizwe lizawubethakala kwicala le-food security xa linobuyela kuthi. Loo nto ikukudelela nokungakuhloniphi abantu abamnyama. Bafika abantu abamhlophe kweli lizwe singabhubhi apha sisitya. Isawubethakala ndawoni ke ngoku. Yaye futhi nanamhlanje ikwasithi abasebenza lo mihlaba. Enkosi.
Good day, Chairperson and your panel. My name is Mkhululi Pasi from the EFF. We support the Expropriation Bill. We say land must be returned to the people. It is actually a despicable matter that we can be citizens of a country but have no land. You would find often people erecting structures or shacks in open spaces, but those get broken down because they would be trespassing, it is said. I was born on a farm in Port Alfred, but today I can't even visit my parents' graves. The land must be given back so that we can farm and practice agriculture. These are things we are capable of doing. Often we hear talks about food security being threatened when the land will be given back. It is actually a sad story because we can farm, we can look after cattle or livestock. Anyway, we are the same people who would be working those lands.
Ndiyazibulisela kubahlali bangaphambili, ndiyazibulisela kwindlu yonke, ndiyabulela ngelithuba ndilifumeneyo. Igama lam ndinguNonyameko Harmans, ndiphuma ePlattenberg Bay, eBito Municipality, phantsi kombutho i-EFF. Apha izawuba ngathi sonke sithetha into enye, kodwa ke ingxaki ikhona. Ibuhlungu ihlobo esihlala ngalo, bawunobona ezikolweni esasifunda kuzo ezilalini. Sasiforced uba ngabana uba awuzuthatha i-maths uzawuthatha i-agriculture. Sayifunda ke lo agriculture until today, but ngoku i-agriculture sasifundile phaya asikwazi uyipractice. So umane usenza nje apha eyadini yakho igarden engaphelelanga engayanga ndawo. Asikwazi ufumana amadlelo okubonisa izakhono zethu, asikwazi ukwenza nix. Sihlala phakathi kwamangcwaba, sihlala phakathi kwemfuyo. Imizimba yethu inamaqhakuva ngoba kaloku sihlala phakathi kweehoko zeenkukhu, phakathi kwezinja, phakathi kwento yonke. Asikwazi ulala ezingceni esizinikiweyo. Umzekelo i-RDP house yakho akwazi uthi xa kushushu yolala phaa ngoba laa ngca iyanuka, inuka ihoko yakho, inepufu, inento yonke. Kunzima emhlabeni wethu, funeka thina ufumanise uba ngabana kule fama uphangela kuyo wena Ele isuphangela kulo liyi-1, umhlaba wenziwa nix, uhleli nje, akho nto bayenzayo. Instead kulinywe into ezingasoze sitye thina, kulinywe iflawa, kulinywe yonke into. Izinto ekufuneka uba sibe siyazilima, asikwazi uzilima. And nele COVID isibonise kakhulu, isoyikise kakhulu. Zizinto ebesinozitya ezi asiforced basitya ukutya okusezithinini, asikwazi ukutya ukutya okufresh ngoba asikwazi ulima. Izinto eziphumayo asikwazi uzibonakalisa ngoba sibambezelekile ixesha.
I'm Nonyameko Armans from Plaid. I'm from the organization called EFF. Greeting to the chairperson and everybody present here. We will sound like we are repeating the same thing. The issue of land is a sad story to us. Because where we are staying, we stay with livestock or animals, and there are also graves amongst us. And yet, during our school years, if you are not going to do maths, you were automatically going to do agriculture. But now that we are old, we don't have land to practice what we know best from school. So we're still pleading that we should be given land, because by getting land to practice agriculture, that will contribute for our life. And if you look at the white farmer's house, you'll find there's a vast piece of land surrounding the house. We don't have access to use that land. The only thing that they might use that land for would be just a few flowers. And yet we need land to make a living. And also, we also want you to consider that if you might have land that can contribute to us during this COVID time, because some people get unemployed, but without land, we can't make a living.
Ndiyabulisa kumntu onke ophakathi. Igama lam nguGcobisa wakwaGugushe nguMarhadebe from Epito kwa EFF Ward 5 Secretary. Ndime apha namhlanje ngalomba womhlaba okhubekisa kakhulu. Especially kuthi thina abantu abamnyama. Uyawubava ke bekhala abamhlophe unga-understand ukuthi bakhalelani cause bona banawo umhlaba. Bafika basithathela umhlaba ongowethu. Kulungile ke sebewuthathile. Into ebuhlungu leyo ba ngoku thina funeka sihlale phansi ingxoxo nabo xa umhlaba wethu ufunga ubuyele kuthi. Ndibuyela back kwinto yaseTsitsikama. Iyandikhubekisa kakhulu into yenzeka pha eTsitsikama yoba every time sifuna umhlaba wethu back sicelela nge-negotiations ezenziwayo namabhulu, whereas thina zange kuhlalwe phansi nabazali bethu kwavele kwathatha umhlaba nemfuyo nezinto zonke kwabathuthwa bamkwaye balahle eqoboqobo. Namhlanje xa babuyiselwa kumhlaba ongenanix, funeke bazakhele iphi imfuyo, iphi ifama ezi babe nazo azikho dololo. So isicelo sam si-1, eza negotiations with those white boerers maziphele as in today, because it's really unfair. Umhlaba ingowabo, azange bawuthengiselwe la mhlaba, bawufumana mahala, kwabhubha abantu, kwabhubha abantwana, kwabhubha nemfuyo le babeyithathile.
I'd like to greet everybody present here today. My name is Dobi Sam Gushe from the Khadebe clan. I'm an EFF member, a secretary in Ward 15 in the Bito municipality. I don't understand why white people are complaining when it comes to the matter of land. They've been enjoying this privilege for a long time. I'd like to go back to the Tsitsikama negotiations. I would like to go back to the Tsitsikama negotiations that have been carrying on for a long time. I don't believe that there should be negotiations anymore. This land was taken for free. It should be returned. I do not understand why we have to talk about paying back for it. The sooner it is done, the better for everybody.
Molweni, ndiyabulisa ke sigaba sonke. Othethayo apha, untombi zodwa totwana. Sothetha into enye ngendaba yomhlaba. Into endifuna uyithetha lide ithuba. Mane kuxoxwa ngendaba yomhlaba. Since 1971, sigxothwa ngamabhulu we-apartheid ngelo xesha. Umhlaba wase-Underzone, abazali bethu. Iyandinyanyisa into yokuba mane kuxoxa indaba yomhlaba ingadi phumekezwe ngoba abazali bethu bebesaphila ngela xesha sasinantu bandlululo ngamabhulu we-apartheid. Indlu yasekhaya e-Underzone ngayinantu kutyhalwa ngebulldozer, kubekwe amatye amathathu ecalkwendlu. Lo matye amathathu xa ungaphumanga iyeza ibulldozer kwiveki elandelayo, amepente ngepente emhlophe nepente ebomvu. Elo xesha ke xa mepente ngezobukhali ezintathu funeke uphumile. Xa ungaphumanga ibulldozer iyangena. Ikhaya lam lachithwa ibulldozer ngamabhulu we-apartheid kumhlaba wase-Underzone. Abazali bethu bebephangele singabantwana besezobheka esikolweni, zange sikwazi esikolweni. Bafika la mabhulu e-apartheid ayichitha indlu yasekhaya abazali bethu bengekho. Kwakunetha ngaloo mini 1971 kumhlaba wase-Underzone. Akumanandanga, safilishisa iform ngo-1971. Safilishisa iform abazali bethu besaphila ngelo xesha. Kathiwa bazobuyekezwa ngemali, akho mali yayikho. Umama abazali bethu siquqisiwe ngetransport sasiwe emaJoji. Kuyothetha ngendaba zomhlaba, kuzofumana imali, akho mali. Sathathwa zitransport usuke eNysna to Mossel Bay to Oudtshoorn. Akho nto iqhubekileyo nalapho. Abazali bethu basweleke ngo-2001. Umzali wam wokugqibela, umama wam, esaquqa kwezi ndawo endizibalayo ezintathu. Akho nto iqhubekileyo. Ndiyafowunela eGeorge, ndiyafowunela eCape Town, kuthiwa uParlamenta akakaphenduli. Ndiphinde ndafowuna last week eCape Town, ndafowunela kule ndawo yomhlaba. Umfana ondiphenduleyo phaa uthe kum hayi iParlamenta ayikaphenduli ukuba nifumane imali kuba iifomu zafilishwa zathathwa ngamapolisa ngo-2015 zayolahlwa eKapa. Asikaphendulwa unanamhlanje. Sizawufana nathi abazali bethu bangakaphenduleki basishiyile kule ngxokolo esikuyo. Nathi sawushiya lo mhlaba sife abazali bethu bengakaphenduleki. Siyayifuna imali yabazali bethu. At least mayibuye kuba akho nto esisayenze e-Underzone. Amabhulu akhile kumhlaba wethu wase-Underzone. Akho ndawo basophinda sinantu ke thina sihlale kuyo e-Underzone. Enkosi.
Mtomizoto Totwana, greetings to everybody present here. We will sound like we are repeating the same thing. The issue of land is a painful issue. It is really disgusting to me because our parents were bulldozed from the areas where we were staying, and what the whites used to do, they would come a few days before the removal and place the 3 big stones in front of the house, and then those 3 big stones have a certain time frame. If you don't move or remove your items or move out of that house within that time frame, then the bulldozers will come and remove you. In 1970, that was in 1971. The issue of land is very disgusting and painful to us. Our parents were not at home on the day when my home was bulldozed, and we as kids were about to go to school when they arrived, but we could not go to school on that day. So nothing was removed from our home. And then after that, we were made to fill in forms, promised that we are going to get compensation. We've been taken to Mossel Bay, George, and even also to attend these kind of meetings. with the hope that we are going to be paid, but nothing came back to our side. We even phoned these offices, the land offices, the people responding to the phone, they'll say Parliament did not yet respond to the correspondence or to the forms. They'll say in 2015, the forms were transported to Cape Town by police, so they are still waiting for feedback from Parliament. So we are very painful because our parents died while waiting for this compensation, and now it seems we are also going to die while waiting for this compensation. We are pleading that this process must be fast-tracked so that we get this compensation before we also die, like our parents.
Molweni bethu. Ndibulisa wonke umuntu osendlini. Mhlali phambili. Ndinengxaki sizawuthetha into enye. Okokoko. Iminyaka yam ngoku njengoba ndime kule ndawo ndina 70. Abanye abantu bandijonga le nto ba ngathi ndincinci. Andikho mncinci. Ndisuka ngapha eSouthern ndazalelwa eSouthern. Kumhlaba omhle esakhutshwa kakubi ngamagxaxa. Kwafuneka sikhutshwa ngobusuku nasemini abantu bethu sineenkomo thina sasiyolusa thina ndandisenga mna kuqala ndifunda ngapha eHeshele ndifundiswa ngabantu bam eHeshele xa ndibuyileyo ndiyasenga ndenza yonke into ekhaya. Ngoku sakhutshwa kulaa mhlaba kuyalinywa kulaa mhlaba yonke into siyafika sizowulahlwa apha koqophululo bamasele sihleli nawo apha siyabelwa thina ngoku siyaguga ngoku asikwazi nokuhamba nasebusuku apha kule ndawo sizowubekwa kuyo sityale pension mna ke ngoku because abazali bethu bemkakudala asinamntu sasibahlanu safumana imali engange-16 toni imali sasiyifumene kwafuneka siyohlulela 16,000 phakathi kwabantwana abahlanu into loo nto into ngumsebenzi wamagxaxa ke lowo namhlanje ndisatsho mawubuyele kuthi umhlaba nokuba nagadi kulaa yadi endihleli kuyo ndiyalima ndinesipeyisana esingaka ndiyalima phaa iveji ukuba nditye apha esiswini ndiphila ngalaa pensionana endiyifumanayo asixatyiswanga bethuna sagqiba badala ngoku umuntu ona 70 nona 80 usasokola by now kanti wayesezintweni ngoko thina sasineenkomo ndisaliphinde lo gama sisenga silima ndihlutha mna esinaleni ndihlutha mna eHeshele nasemthatha ndandifunda khona ke nditsho ndihleli phaa kudala ndimamela into enye intsomo enye libale linye elithetha ngabafazi bonke bebehlela sixakeke nyhani ubona nje ingqondo zethu zizawuthatha zingasebenzi mere apha ek wil net sê ons het vreeslike sukkel in Knysna soos ek sê ons is gebore aan die Soutrivier van hy tyd af soos ek sê ek is 70 jaar soos ek nou hier staan. Ons het omtrent, ek sukkel nou nog in hy pandokie wat ek, hy metjie bokshuis, wat ek weer ander planke omgebouw het, net laat ek een spasie kry, laat daar meer spasie, want ek wil leef in een tyd waar ek my darm gerieflik, kan na my stoof toe gaan, kan na my bed toe gaan, voor ek dood gaan, want ek gaan my ouers volg. Dankie. Het ek my naam voorgestel? Ek, ndinguthandeka Evelyn Koni, isename yam. Uxolo uvile?
I apologize, Chairperson. My name is Nomthanda Zokoni. Greetings to everybody. It's going to be the same thing. We seem to be saying or talking about the same thing. I am 70 years old. People think I'm younger.
She looks very, very young.
I was born in a beautiful place, Sultana, not far from here. We had animals there. I personally milked animals. People in Herschel taught me. We were removed there unceremoniously and were thrown in a place not far from here. It's a disgusting place. I had 5 siblings, and for the land from which we were removed, we only got 16,000, and we had to divide these amongst ourselves. I may not have a big space where I live, but I do plant in my yard. What I can say is that we are not valued in this country and this place. As I said, we had livestock, we lived a good life. I was at school in Herschel. I was well fed, well looked after by my family from the proceeds of the land they were living in. It seems now we are going to lose our minds because nothing is being done to secure our lives any longer. Thank you.
Enkosi mhlali ngaphambili, igama lami nguThamsanqa ngokwamaphondla. Ndipha kula mhlaba wasePlettenberg Bay, ndiseva kwi-branch yakwa Ward 5 kwi-SRWP as a Workers' Party. Okwam mhlali ngaphambili kukuthi kudala ngoko. Kudala sihleli ezitafileni kwi-round table si-negotiator namasela. Okanye mandithi si-negotiator ngoku nabantwana bamasela, ngoba amasela amakhulu awasekho. Ukuba namhlanje uyadriver all the way kwi-Garden Route usiya eCape Town, uyazibonela nje akukho nanye indoda emnyama, ngamadoda amhlophe odwa njengoba usiva nawe kuthiwa iGarden Route kusegadini yase-Edeni nyhani. Abantu abamhlophe kuphela, akukho nanye indoda emnyama. Ndicela uyiphinda loo ndawo. Phaa ke kumhlaba wasePlettenberg Bay mhlali ngaphambili sijongene nengxaki yabafuyi. Bafuyi abo baphelelwa lithemba, ingakumbi xa ujonga phaa ku-agriculture. U-agriculture ose-Western Cape urhuqa inyawo. Ufana nalena ngoku imeko sikuyo yokuthathwa komhlaba nayo irhuqa inyawo. Ndiqinisekile kuhambo lwenu lwee-provinces esenisuka kuzo kuthethwa ngalizwi linye kusukuthiwa umhlaba mawubuyele ebantwini bawo. Into kunayo inye into esibambileyo sibanjwe yi-system eyacreatwa ngabantu abamhlophe ukuthi funeka sithi uze silungise siyohlala etafileni sixoxe, singene ezinkundleni sixoxe. Basawugqiba bayiwine loo nto leyo ngoba lo mthetho wawuze nabo, wavunyelwa ke ngamadoda akhoyo aphetheyo athi namhlanje aza no-Section 25 osafuna ingxoxo nawo, kodwa amandla awanikwa ngabemi baseMzantsi Afrika. Amandla onke akula madoda asepalamente, awadinga uphinda azobuza kuthi, kodwa amandla sasiwanikile xa sasiwanika ivoti yethu. Asiyazi xa kunamhlanje kuzobuzwa ntoni na kuthi. Sinengxaki apha no-agriculture, siyafuna uyaleza mhlali ngaphambili kancinci ngokufutshane. U-agriculture wethu e-Western Cape akakho ngathi thina abantu bamnyama, ungabantu abamhlophe. Kudala silindile singamafama e-Southern Cape, silinde inkxaso ku-agriculture ayiveli. Kumane kuthiwa sizawujikela. Sifumane ilisi, kuthiwe no, ilisi yenu imfutshane. Ngaloo magama ke mhlali ngaphambili, ndiyabulela ngokuza kwenu.
I'm Tamsan Wabkona from Plettenberg Bay. It has been a long time that we talk about this issue, holding roundtable talks with the thieves, if not the thieves, the children or the generation of the thieves, because the actual thieves who stole the land from us are no longer here. If you can, for instance, take a drive along the Garden Route from here to Cape Town, you look along the road, you'll find beautiful farms, but none of those farms are owned by our black people, are purely white. In Plettenberg Bay, where we are staying, we as emerging farmers, we have a big problem. We don't have land. We don't get support from the Department of Agriculture. When we go there to seek support, they are dragging their feet. I'm sure from all the provinces that you visited, people are saying it in unison that they want the land back. But all we are doing is just a negotiation. We gave you a mandate some time ago that you should go and amend Section 25. But still, you are still busy with us. You don't need to come to us. The power we gave you, you're supposed to be using that power. And the Department of Agriculture is purely white. There's no people of color among them. As a result, they are not supporting us at all. The only thing they are giving is just promises, and also the short-term lease. That's all we get from them. Thank you.
Goedemorgen. Juffrou die voorzitter, al die hooggeplaasdes. En ek kan nie agterlaat om my burgemeester, onderburgemeester en raadslede môre te sê nie. Ek is Norman Pedro, boerling van Brecken in die distrik van Knysna, nie ver hier vanaand nie. Ek en my broer, ons het geboer op 'n klein hoewe in Breckenhill, 'n small holding. My broer is 'n paar jaar gelede oorlede en nou gaan ek maar aan met die boerdery daar. Ek het my trekker en alle implemente. In 'n tyd gelede het 'n man met die naam van Cedric Witbooi, hy is 'n boerling van Knysna. Hy bly in Reverend, toe vra hy vir my om Norman, het julle aansoek gedoen vir eis op die grond aan Breckenhill? Toe sê ek nee, ons het nie, want die mense was nog nie snaaks met ons nie. Dit was eers Thyssen en toe Steinhoff en toe het P.J. Bison nou oorgevat. En toe het P.J. Bison gekom, toe wil hy nou ons mense R75.000 gee om die plek te verlaat, om op 'n ander plek te gaan dingen. En ons het geveg daarteen. Dat ons nog steeds daar is. En toe het ek nou gehoor dat die staat ons help. En toe was daar 'n vrou wat by die skole, waar hulle die skole help met tuinery. Haar naam is Pumla. En toe het ek met haar in verbinding getree. Toe het sy na die plek gaan kyk. En toe was die bosbouer ook daar. En toe het hulle nou besluit, ek in die grond, hy is nou by die howe hoor van P.J. Bison, is ek vir hoe ek sê, vir 'n aantal jare nou die grond kan bewerk en dan sal die staat my help. Maar hy moet nou net toestemming gee in dit vir haar e-mail. Hy het dit nooit gedoen nie, die bosbouer. En eendag toe kom 'n jong man na tyd wat nou by Sasveld studeer. Nou, hy sou saam met Pumla gewerk het, as hy klaar is, en toe het hy gesê, Pumla het hom gestuur om te kom hoor hoe ver hy gekom het. Ek meen, hoe ver ek gekom het, want sy het nog niks gehoor nie. Toe is ons na die bosbouer toe, en toe sal hy nou alle besonderhede vir die man nou stuur. Daar het ook niks van gekom nie. Nou is ek nog steeds daar so, maar my broer is mos nou oorlede. En sy seun, wat nou in sy huis is 4 jaar gelede in ongeluk betrokke. Hier is my kleinkind, hy het gestudeer by 'n landbouskool en hy kan my help asseblief. Ek wil asseblief hê dat julle my moet help. Baie dankie.
Hi there, my name is Norden Pedro from Knysna. Just want to say good morning to all. My brother and I farmed in the Bracken area. He shortly passed away, where I then continued to farm. Some time ago, Cedric Witboy applied to claim my land. It was first Tessen and then Steinhoff. He offered us 75,000 rand to leave our land, which we didn't want to take. I then heard that the state would help us. We applied. A lady named Pumla went to go look at the place, said they would help us if I worked the land, but we never got the go-ahead for this. We're still waiting for an answer from Pumla. I'm still there, and my deceased brother's son, he can help me. Thank you.
Ndibulisa kusihlalo we-NCOP nesigqeba ngokubanzi. Ndingukholisile Jonas mna apha kaWard 4 eNysna. Ndinikwe imandate ukopolityeni cooperative ukutsho ubonde bonke cooperative LTD. Londo iti sikwi good standing nangomso sufumana umhlaba susebenzise. Xa ndinotsala nje kancinci history yethu sa-establisha ubondle bonke ngo-2010 urhulumente engakacingi nokucinga uthetha ngomhlaba. Urhulumente uthetha ngomhlaba ngo-2012 ngokuvuswa phaa epalamente. Kulo mbutho endingazubiza ngegama. Kodwa urhulumente vuka ebuthongweni nilele. Siyaqhubekeka ngelo xesha. 2011 sa-registered sikwi-good standing even nangoku. Even uSARS uyasazi uba i-certificate sethu neencwadi zethu zithi sikwi-good standing even nangoku asikawufumani umhlaba. Akho ndawo singayihambanga sisuka kwa-land reform eGeorge. Ukuba umjonge kakuhle uEllen Windi sesivele ohlala naye phansi esaququze eseyiminister ye-agriculture. 2015 sidibana ne-NCOP apha eOuthon. Nansi. Le-NCOP elapha namhlanje. eBricks eStadium. Isizathu soba ndiphathe ezinto ndingu-secretary SG. Kabondle bonke. Izathu uba ndiphathe le nto, le document. Sisiqinisekiso ukuba kudala siwulindile umhlaba. Sithe xa simangala, sifaka isimangalo sethu, sanikwa i-reference number, nansi khona. Siwathathile amanyathelo ukukhangela uba kutheni singade siwufumane umhlaba. Dololo. Ndinayo inambara nansi lapha. Dololo. 2017 silapha eGeorge NCOP. Nazi. Ngicela uzikhuphe. Andifuni ukwenza amabala. 2020 silapha eMosselbaai nilapha namhlanje please sifuna umhlaba bantu bakuthi inkomo zethu ziyabanjwa inkosi.
I'm Kolisile Jonas from Ward 4 here in Knysna. Greetings to everyone. I've been mandated by Bondle Bonke Cooperative, and the organization is in good standing to get land. We were established, the Bondle Bonke Cooperative was established in 2010, and in 2011 we registered officially. However, it was only in 2012 that the government started talking about land. We've been to the Land Reform Office when Mr. Alan Wayne was still the Minister of Agriculture in the Western Cape. In 2015, we met the NCOP. I have evidence here. We met in the Brits Stadium. I am speaking here as the secretary of Bondle Bonke. We laid a charge. I have a reference number, so I have all evidence required. However, we've received no answers for why we've not been given land. Land dololo. In 2017 again, we were in a discussion regarding land for the organization. In 2020, we met in Mosselbaai. Today, we are here talking about the same thing. Our livestock, we do not have land to rear our livestock. This matter is of urgency.
Chair, good morning. Good morning to the panel and good morning to the Parliament members. But closer. Okay, thanks. Chair, I think, sorry, all protocol observed, King and your team. Welcome to Knysna. You know, Chair, there are two things that is concerned to me here. Do you remember who the first person was that came here to make submissions this morning? And that person left very early after he made his submission. And it was a good opportunity for that person just to listen to the plight and the concerns and the frustration and the heartbreak of people. Because he's made his submission, he went. I know you don't have any control when people come in and when people went back, but I think it's important that people start to listen to what people have to say. Chair, I also need to correct something here. In your greeting and in your introduction to me, you refer that I am a deployee of the ANC. I have to correct yourself because there are other politicians here that listen to these things. I'm not a deployee by the ANC. I'm the executive mayor of Knysna, and I have been deployed by Congress of the People. So I just need to correct this thing, please.
Apologies, sincere apologies.
No, it's fine, ma'am. In my submission, Chair, therefore, I would make a general comment on a lot of issues, and then in itself, I also just want to read something quickly here, which is very important to me. Chair, it's indeed an historical occasion. This in itself, which intention is to readdress one of the most important injustices of the past. Chairperson and honorable members, I can assure you that our municipality and our council, in specific, the governing alliances, which are 4 political parties in Knysna. The ACDP are part of us, the African National Congress, Congress of the People, and KUC. So we take this whole issue of land very seriously. Therefore, we had embarked on a very serious land audit in our town. not only of government land, but also on private land. And I'm quite sure we have the opinion, for any municipality to succeed, is to look at the land issue. For us to be able to provide decent service to our communities and to bring dignity back to them, we need to make sure that we address the land issue, because that is our main source of revenue as a municipality. And if we don't deal with it, any municipality will go down. I can assure you about that. So, Chair, in saying that, I just want to read in Afrikaans version of die wetsontwerp. En het is punt nummer 2. En ek gebruik net die laaste gedeelte om net vir u te wys waarvan ek praat. Om voorsiening te maak vir gevalle waar onteiening sonder vergoeding regverdig en billik mag wees. Now, I want this committee and Parliament to seriously look at this year, 1992 to 1994. Those, and that specific time, all municipalities went on a selling spree. They sold municipal land for an apple and an eye. And still today, as a council, as a municipality, we are suffering because of that. Because you don't get the revenue that you're supposed to get for your people. Land being sold literally, and the young gentleman sitting over there make reference to it earlier this morning. For an apple and an eye, massive prime property in Knysna municipaliteit verkoop vir so min as R3 miljoen vir 41 hektar. En weet jy wat? Daar's nie 'n bees of 'n perd of 'n donkie of 'n hoender of 'n skaap of enige op daai grond nie. En ons gee hulle 75% rebate op daai grond, omdat hulle aansoek doen vir 'n agricultural rebate. Hundreds of millions of rand this municipality lost on revenue. Revenue that we so desperately need to assist those people just to bring back their dignity. In my office on a daily basis, I'm confronted by poor, desperate people just asking the mayor to assist them to make sure that they live a decent life. Want hulle menswaardigheid is afgetakel tot op die been toe. And we need you to take this land issue very seriously and to make sure that our people out there eventually will be triumphant in our efforts. Again, in closing, Chair, thank you very much for the opportunity. I have to thank all of you very much for the time and the vehicle that Parliament created for us as a community to convey our frustration and so that you can understand Knysna. In going back, Chair, you've got a very beautiful place. You experience the vast differences, the rich and the poor. And based on that, I know that Parliament will do the right thing. Personally, I support the bill. Thank you very much.
Okay. Let's appreciate and thank all those that spoke in this meeting. We are taking all your views. This camera that is in front of you is not from any media house, it's from the Parliament, for us to record all that we have been saying. Special thanks goes to the King for gracing this event. We know our traditional leaders, sometimes they don't come to the meetings, but that you decided to come on your own and not send any of those that you are working with, it shows that you are real serious about this land issue. We are taking all that you have presented to us, your Excellency. We also noting all that has been raised to us by the various political parties, by the individuals, by the trust, and we have heard the sad stories of people who were evicted from their land. As we indicated earlier on, that there are still 2 provinces that are outstanding, and then after we've dealt with those provinces, and only when the restrictions of COVID-19 have been eased, we will then discuss as the portfolio committee all the views that we have had from all the public hearings that we have been, the written submissions and the oral submissions, and then come up with a report that will be tabled in Parliament for all the political parties to discuss on it. But there are other issues that have been raised here that don't necessarily affect the committee, but other speakers have pointed clearly that the Department of Rural Development and Agrarian Reform must attend to those. We are noting those. We will then refer them to the Portfolio Committee, which is led by Nkosumandla Mandela, the one of Rural Development and Agrarian Reform. So we are taking all those for the committee to look at it. Again, siyabulela, siyabonga ngezimvo zenu and even your attendance. The meeting is adjourned. Siyabonga mhlekazi.